In the endless multiverse, every choice sparks a new reality, and every reality tells a different story. Here we explore the paths never taken, the heroes who fall, and the legends who rise. Welcome to Multiverse Chronicles, where the impossible becomes inevitable. Today, we have a very special story, where the once called the God of Mischief took a very different path. The fall of New York. The skies once tore open above New York City, and from them reigned an army. Loki, Laufey's son of Asgard, raised the scepter high, his eyes burning with promised dominion. He believed himself victorious, but the dream crumbled. The Avengers stood unbroken, tearing down both his army and his pride. Loki was beaten, humiliated, dragged through the wreckage of his own failure. Shackled in chains forged from Asgardian steel, he returned to the Golden Realm as a prisoner, not a conqueror. In his cell, where the world mocked his defeat, Loki's thoughts twisted. Armies could be broken, thrones could fall. But the stones, the Infinity Stones, remained eternal, untouchable. If conquest could not be won through power borrowed, then conquest must be earned, piece by piece. And so Loki dreamed of becoming the one who rules it all. A borrowed gift. The scepter, once gifted by a shadowed benefactor, had not vanished when the Chitauri fell. It was taken, locked away, studied by mortals who thought themselves clever. Hydra, a nest of serpents, burrowed into its secrets, unaware that Loki had marked it. From his cell, Loki's silver tongue sowed chaos. He spoke of weaknesses, of hidden truths, of whispers that only a god could know. Hydra grew careless, distracted by their pursuit of weapons. In silence, Loki escaped, slipping through shadows no Asgardian guard had thought to watch. He descended upon Hydra's stronghold like a phantom. The mortals, drunk on ambition, barely understood what had come for them until their halls ran red with silence. Loki retrieved the scepter, its golden glow reflected in his cold eyes. For the first time, the Mind Stone pulsed within his grasp. Not as a borrowed gift, but as a possession. He had torn it from the clutches of men, and with it his journey began. The God of Mischief was now the God of Intent. Anywhere to be. The Tesseract, once Loki's to wield, had been returned to Asgard and sealed in Odin's vault. To reclaim it was to challenge his father once more. But Loki did not march with noise or armies. He wove illusions within illusions, shadows within shadows, until even Heimdall's all-seeing gaze faltered. The vault doors opened under a veil of lies. Within lay treasures of ages, the eternal flame, the casket of ancient winters, and there, glowing like the heart of eternity, the Tesseract. Yet the vault was never unguarded. Loki's steps awakened the destroyer, that ancient merciless sentinel of Asgard's will. In silence, it unleashed fire upon him, but Loki was not the same reckless god who once fell to New York. He bent the walls of perception, crafted decoys of himself, until the guardian struck only shadows. One strike mattered, one illusion masked his hand as it closed around the cube. And then, as the destroyer's inferno swallowed the chamber, Loki was gone. From Hydra's ashes he had taken the mind, from Odin's vault he had stolen the space, and each step darkened his soul further. Appearances might be deceiving. The ether slept in the collection of Tivan the Collector, deep within nowhere, where gods and monsters alike left relics of forgotten wars. None expected the trickster's hand to reach so far. The collector was not unwise. His halls were guarded by cages, creatures, and secrets. But Loki was not a warrior that brute force could resist. He was a shadow that slipped between greed and pride. He crafted a guise not as himself, but as Lady Sif, noble warrior of Asgard. Sif had once spoken of honor, of loyalty, of standing firm. And so, wearing her face, Loki entered Tivan's halls, radiating righteousness. The collector, blinded by obsession, welcomed her. As the ether pulsed within its prison, Loki's eyes gleamed. He wove a lie of urgency that Thanos, the mad titan, was coming for the stone, and the only safe place for it was far from Tivan's grasp. Tivan's fear was greater than his wisdom. He let the warrior take it. Only when the illusion faded and Lady Sif's noble form dissolved into smoke did the collector realize the deception. By then, Loki was gone. The ether curled into him, seeping into his veins, darkening his very essence. Infinite power. The orb lay on Xandar, entrusted to the Novacore. Mortals again, clinging to power beyond their comprehension. This time, Loki could not deceive. The Novacore were vigilant, armed with fleets and legions. To steal from them meant war. So Loki gave them war, not with armies of his own, but with chaos unleashed. He bent factions against one another, pirates, mercenaries, and Kree alike, until Xandar's skies burned. As they tore at each other, Loki moved in silence. He walked through fire as though it were mist, each illusion guiding bullets astray, each shadow swallowing screams. When he reached the orb, the Power Stone sang in its prison. Its strength nearly tore him apart. The energy coursed through his veins, threatening to unravel him into dust. But Loki endured. His hands trembled, his breath faltered, yet he did not yield. He contained it, bent it, mastered it, not because his body was stronger than others, but because his will was more ruthless. And when the last of Xandar's defenders fell, the God of Mischief held the Power Stone. Master of Time. In Kamartaj, the masters of the mystic arts guarded the eye of Agamotto. Unlike Hydra or Xandar, these were not fools. They were sorcerers, bound by destiny, sharpened by sacrifice. Loki knew force would not prevail. Instead, he wove his greatest deception yet. He let them believe the timeline itself demanded his presence. Illusions of collapsing futures, of broken multiverses, danced through their visions. They believed themselves seeing prophecy. And so, while their eyes were cast to shadows of tomorrow, Loki struck. Cloaked in silence, he took the eye, its green glow spilling across his pale hands. The Time Stone bent to his touch, showing him glimpses of futures he had not lived, thrones he would never sit upon, faces he would never see again, battles where he always lost. Each vision clawed at him. Each glimpse whispered of a destiny forever denied. But Loki did not waver. He closed the eye, and the visions ended. The stone was his. Great sacrifice. 6 stones existed, but the last required more than cunning, more than theft. On Vormir, the soul demanded sacrifice. Loki ascended the mountain in silence, his steps heavy with dread. He had taken lives, stolen kingdoms, betrayed all who trusted him. But the stone asked not for cruelty, it asked for love. And so he remembered her, Frigga, his mother, the one who had believed in him even when Odin turned cold, the one who had looked upon his broken heart and still called him son. She had been his anchor, the faint light that tethered him to something more than vengeance. To lose her once had shattered him. To give her up now would damn him. But inevitability demanded it. And so Loki used the Tesseract, went back to Asgard, and kidnapped his own mother, the only one that believed in him, just to sacrifice her for his dark desire. On the peak of Vormir, Loki let go. The soul he cherished most was torn from him, and the God of Mischief screamed in silence as the abyss swallowed her. When he awoke, the stone rested in his palm, cold, eternal, unforgiving. Inevitability. 6 stones, 6 sins, each carved deeper into Loki than the last. He had lied, stolen, killed, and sacrificed the only love he had ever known. The God of Mischief was gone. What remained was something else, something inevitable. He stood alone, gauntlet gleaming, the cosmos trembling at his touch. His face, once marked by arrogance and wit, now bore only emptiness. The throne he once sought no longer mattered. The 9 realms, the mortals, even his brother, all of them were dust compared to the silence he carried within. And as the stones pulsed together, bending reality, space, and time to his will, Loki became not king, not conqueror, but fate itself. He became inevitable.